Sometimes you just support the brothers until you find out what they about.
That's all it be about the first time. You be like, man, you know what? Let me see what they talking about. And then over time, it's a cheat code. You can be horrible. You can be horrible and take that gun and you're good.
It always lingers.
It's right always it never leave you. You always know. You're like, I feel like the way our home is set up, that I have enough time to get things together upstairs before you even get up there.
Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Ghost Star back in the house. And today's person of conversation, as you see in the thumbnail, it's my boy, Technically T. So when we return, we'll be joined by him. All right, guys, as promised, we are back with Technically TT. What's good with you, man?
I can't call it, man. What's good with you?
Yeah, not much. So I remember we were just chatting before we actually hopped on. I was like, man, The first time I met you. So the first how I found your channel, man, it's been, God, it had to be about 5-6 years ago now.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, because I remember you were in Nick Nimmons live.
You took it back on the weekends.
Exactly. I had just really started doing YouTube on my gaming channel.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to find a way to kind of help just learn a little bit more because I was very new at it then.
Right.
I was like, who's Technically T? So I found your channel. I subbed before I even knew exactly what your channel was about.
Hey, that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
Sometimes you just support the brothers until you find out what they about.
That's all it be about the first time. You be like, man, you know what? Let me see what they talking about. And then over time, I'll see if I'll keep that subscription. You know what I mean? But that's how it is, man.
Yeah. So actually, that leads right into my first question. So I know who you are. I'm sure there's other people on my channel who know who you are. But tell the people more about you and what your actual channel's about.
All right. So yeah, Technically T. I mainly focus on, I like to say I focus on general tech, but I pigeonhole myself talking about accessories. Now, when we're talking about accessories, we're talking about smartphone cases, mostly iPhone, dibble and dabble into Android, you know what I mean? But the accessory is more vast when it comes to iPhone, and mainly it's mostly cases. Now, I know you're probably like, how in the world did you start a channel talking about cases, man? Like in college, I don't know. I was just addicted to having a good case on my iPhone. Old iPhones back in the day, 4S, 5S's. Man, I had I had shoe boxes.
They used to shatter all the time.
All the time, man, for nothing. And I had shoe boxes full of cases. And I would just order a case, and then I'd be like, man, I don't like this case, or I like, I like things about this case, and I hear a new company, let me buy this. And it got to the point where I had shoe boxes. I can see it now. Shoe boxes of just cases. You know what I mean? And over time, people would come to me and be like, hey, T, what case should I get for my phone? And I'm just like, I'll shoot them some recommendations. So over time, I said, you know what? I'm such a stickler about what I like, what I dislike about a case. I get aggravated, like, man, this brand could do this better. And I said I was just going to start a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? It was just like, you know what? I'm just going to start a YouTube channel talking about it. I didn't know anything about YouTube besides watching it. At the time, I was probably watching like Aaron from Phone Dog. If you know tech, you probably know these people. Flossie, MKBHD, just the basics everybody know about. Yeah. And I started my channel, man, talking about cases at my kitchen counter with a room lamp and my LG Android, I think at the time that I used for recording. And I just started making videos, and it caught traction, and here I am. I just crossed 130,000 last night. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I appreciate it, and it just kept going. You know what I mean? I started as a hobby until where, for me, it still is a hobby because I do have a full-time job, but I didn't expect for it to grow and have this silver play button behind me. I had no idea that was even going to happen, but that's how we are. And here we are. You know what I mean?
I think I remember joining. I think you were right around 20 or 25.
Mm-hmm.
So
sound about right. Yeah.
To watch the growth. And it's kind of some of us, so you, Brian, Mike, I've watched a lot of you guys and watched some of you guys grow. And it's just like, for me, it's just like watching like one of your good friends. Just
no doubt.
something. It's like, man, that's cool right there.
Yeah, man.
I've been along for the entire journey.
For
So
sure.
as you know, my channel, this particular channel, now you've been on my other channel too. You
Right.
came through my live
Yep.
there.
Yep.
But that was gaming, and you just came through, just say, hey, I'm just coming through. What the hell you playing?
I don't know what you play.
Yep,
You would think I would know with all this rig behind me, but man, I barely play that thing. On the weekends I will, but barely.
Yeah, hey, speaking of rig, I watched them build the rig. We was there when you talked about building it.
I should have made a video out of that, dog. I really, but you know, it was my first one, so I didn't know, and I went through so many. I honestly didn't go through a lot of issues building that, but I didn't know how it was going to be recorded. So I was just like, you know what, let me just build it, make sure I turn this thing on and it works. But now I think I might go back and do like an overview. And I really want to build another one, but it ain't gonna be happening now with them prices. So that's a wrap. That's a wrap.
He's like, my computer today would cost him. He said it would cost him over $10,000 to build.
Oh my God. I don't even want to know what. I looked at the RAM that I have in that, and I looked at the price, and I was like, oh my God, it's like triple the price. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's safe to say that bad boy gonna hold me down for a while.
Yeah, I bet. So so this channel is about firearms. So we're gonna dip into it because I found out the T is a firearm enthusiast.
I like him. I dibble and dabble every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So tell me. So I always start off by asking everybody, what got you in? When did you get into firearms?
So this is a little quick story time. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make it short. I don't want to make it long and drawn out. You know what I mean? So okay. So this is the story. This is how I got. This is when you showed me I was like, okay, perfect. So this is a story time. So this was back in I was in grad school and I was living in North Carolina. So I say this was about in 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. So I'm at my buddy's house. Rest in peace, my boy Matthias, man. One of my good partners. I was at his house. He was like my OG. When he lived right around the campus. He was about maybe 8 years older than me. You know what I mean? But we always called him the OG. He was into firearms, but he didn't really put me on to him. He was like a big brother outside of your own family. You know what I mean? We always went to his house to hang. When I would leave work, I used to work on campus. I would swing by his house, cop a little drink, just chill and then skate on to the crib. You know what I mean? Just one of those type people. So one weekend is Saturday. He lives right across the street from the campus, which means he lives across the street from like college apartments. So one day I see one of my homegirls ride past his house. This is what we did. We always sat on his porch. He'll cut the grill on, music on, and that's what we did. So one day I see one of my homegirls ride by and I see her park like on the side of the road. So she calls me. It about 30 minutes goes past, and then she calls me like, T, I see you at Matthias' house. Can you come here real quick? So I walked to her car. She was kind of like parallel parked on the side of the road. So I go to her car and she's like, she asked me a question. We were talking about something, but her and her guy kind of got into it. So I'm kind of like leaning in the car. Like, you know how somebody got their window down and you just leaned in talking to her. So a car behind me was trying to get around. Now this road is parallel. You ain't supposed to be doing it, but it's parallel parked cars on both sides. So only one car can kind of slide through. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm leaning in the car now, but I've already had a few drinks in me. So the person was like, beep, 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 like blows a horn, like, can you move out the way? So I'm like, dude, there's plenty of space. Go around. You know what I mean? So I'm talking to her. And so you imagine somebody like, man, just go around, and you just keep right talking.
Right.
So he they get out the car. It's 3-4 guys. So they get out the car, and I'm like, oh, they want a problem. You know what I mean? And by then I didn't own a gun, didn't know anything about firearms. You know what I mean? This is just me fighting like I would normally do. So I get out, and my OG that's on the front porch sees it. So he runs about the yard. He always kept a Glock 19 on him all the time. So he runs out in the yard and be like, yo, do we got a problem? You know what I mean? With his gun in the hand. So the young boys kind of got back in their car and they went around the block. And it was a rectangle, like a big square. So anyway, I go back to the house. I walk back to his crib. So they circle the block once again and come back and parks like a little ways down and starts to walk up. So my homie, my boy Matthias, came out, let 2 go. Boom, boom. And I'm like, and they ran back in the car again, got in the car and took off. So at this point, I said, yo, Matthias, I'm about to just roll on out of here. You know what I mean? I'm about to go ahead and slide back to the house. So I get in my car, make the same circle that they make. And I was at a stop sign and I'm getting ready to make a right. If I look to my left, there was a parking lot. They were waiting on me to leave. So I make a left. I said, I believe that's them. I never forget, it was a white Acura TL. And I made a right. And as soon as I bust that right, they got right behind me. And I said, okay. So I said, I know that's them. Let me see how far they're going to follow me. You know what I mean? So I jumped on the highway. They jumped on the highway. I sped up a little bit. They sped up a little bit to the point where we are literally going side by side on the highway. Now, I knew they didn't have a gun because I feel like they would have did something that they did by then. Right. So we go and I said, okay, T, I have to shake them because it's one of me. All I got in the car at that point, I love cars. So I had like a big breaker bar. That's all I had in my car. So I said, all right, I got to shake these dudes. So I ended up jumping off the exit. Thought I could kind of take it real quick. And they got it right behind me. I said, so at this point now, I'm just driving, trying to lose them. I'm not even worried about cops. I'm not worried about anything. So I know we're speeding. We're all over the place. I'm thinking about, all right, so you got to survive at this point because it's 4 of them, 1 of me. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I end up turning, boom, 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 going through Little Hood. And I ended up in a school parking lot. It's Dudley High School in Greensboro, North Carolina. And it's a 1-way in, 1-way out. So I turned into the parking lot and I'm circling. I'm like, it ain't no way for me to get out. So at that point, they had blocked the entrance. They had called somebody else now. At this point, now it's 2 cars. And they blocked the entrance like this. So I'm facing them. I turned around. They knew they kind of had me because they were laughing. They faced like this. I can't get out. I'm like, what in the world what's about to happen now? So at this point, one dude got out and ran straight towards the car. One guy. So I was like, I could do one guy. You know what I mean? I can fight one dude. So I get out the car. He tries to swing. I kind of pushed him off, hit him with a little 2-piece. Boop, boop. Falls out. He knocks out. That was easy work. I said, I'm not the smallest dude. So I'm like, little dude running me was little guy. I said, now he's easy work. Now by then, 3 boys was running full speed. Like, okay, now we got to go back and get him. So at that point, I jumped in my car. In my mind, I said, I don't even care if I just hit these cars to get out of here. These dudes are probably about to kill me. You know what I mean? Because there's so many of them. It was young boys, crazy. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but there was just enough space in between those 2 cars to where I don't understand. To this day, I don't know how I didn't hit one of those cars. I ran full speed ahead, pushed the gas. I said, if I hit these dudes, I'm going to hit them. They jumped out the way. I slid between those 2 cars. To this day, I still don't know how I did it. Busted a turn, hit the highway, and took off going back to High Point where I stayed at the time. And that's when I first was like, that can never happen again. And if I was a carrying person, I felt like in that situation would have been a time where I would have used it. Simply because it was me versus, at that point, 7 boys. Right. And ever since then, and I never forget, I got back to the house. My brother was like, yo, what happened? And he's all up in the arms. I'm like, it's all good. It's done now. You know what I mean? And ever since then, I said, literally the next 2 days, I went and bought a Smith & Wesson. I can't think of the name of it, man, but it was a 9. That was my first time I bought one. And that's what got me into it. That situation and being able to potentially have one, you know what I mean, opened my eyes to be like, okay, I got to protect myself because you never know when a random situation can happen just like that happened that night. So that's the night. I never was interested in firearms. Never. Wasn't even thinking about them. That night changed my whole mind. And ever since then, I've been into them.
Man.
Yep.
That is a wild story. I can see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see why.
That's why. Seriously, I was like, I can't. I said that never happened again. That'll never happen again. In my mind, I'm thinking like, if these dudes see me again, it could be a problem again. So I need to be able to protect myself. You know what I mean? Right. And that's what triggered it all.
No.
Yep.
Story. That's a story for you right there.
I know, like the back of my mind, because it was scary. It was scary at the time. You know, I didn't know anything. I could fight, but it's me versus 7 cats. I can't do nothing with that. You know what I mean? So that's what sparked me, man. And ever since then, I said I'll never be in that situation again.
So I always follow up. Man, I'll never follow up a story like that, but I always follow up a story with top three favorites. Ever shot. It could be all three that you currently own now, or
that I've ever shot.
you ever shot or ever owned?
Number one, I'll start from one because I know my 1 and 2, and I don't know my third. My number one is a Staccato XC.
Okay,
love it. That
sparked through a conversation when you said that yesterday.
That right there. I don't own one. My buddy had one. So I had number 2. I have a Staccato P.
Okay,
and that's my number 2 favorite shooting. XC is like no recoil. It's just a cheat code. You can be horrible. You can be horrible and take that gun and you're good. Staccato P is my second. My third probably would be, and I'm just going all hands. Probably would be a SIG. It was a SIG AXG Legion, but I can't think of the part of the name. I can't think of what it was, man. It wasn't 320. It was something else, but it was a SIG Legion, and I can't AXG Legion. I can't think of it, but that was the third one. Things shot like butter, you know what I mean? But that's probably my top 3 that I remember. I've shot a lot, but those 3 I was like, okay, this is it. No, it wasn't a 226. If I can look it up, I can tell you exactly what it was. But I do know it was a Legion and it was a SIG. Mm-hmm. Had the portholes in the barrel coming down. Of the slide. I can't think of what it was, but it thing was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful piece.
Got you.
That's my top 3, man.
All handguns. I'm assuming you have shot in rifles in the past.
I own 2. Yeah, so I've bought my first, a Smith & Wesson M&P Sport 2. You know what I mean? Very affordable. I think it was like $500 at Adventure Outdoors, and that led me to my first rifle experience. And I kind of learned the inner workings of that. Changed some of the furniture on that. You know what I mean? Changed the charger handle. Changed the little hand. I was doing my first time, so I'm getting all the Magpul accessories. You know how it go. Yeah. And then from there, I shot that. It's a good. I still got it. It's good. It's a perfect starter. It's overgassed for sure because you get so much blowback when you shoot. Like it's so overgassed. But that led me to doing COVID, building my own rifle. So I ended up building me a 12.5 inch, basically rifle, and I love it. You know what I mean? Use all I use BC. It's about a lot of BCM. It's an Aero precision upper and lower. You know what I mean? So it's about a $1,700 build. It's a pretty good build, and surprisingly, I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't shot it a lot, and I still don't think I have zeroed that gun in. Seriously,
I haven't zeroed my rifle in yet either.
It's crazy. I haven't zeroed it in, and I need to take it to go zero in, but I don't shoot them that often. You know what I mean? It's crazy to say that I built it during COVID and it's still not zeroed in, but I do know I have shot it just as test shots and doing different things like that. But actually running it hard and putting through his paces, I know it'll run hard because the gun range we went to, this guy, ex-military guy, was like, "Hey, you build you a nice one. This is gonna last you forever." Because he was looking at the parts and was like, "Okay, I see what you used," but outside of that. You know what I mean? I haven't shot it much. So I haven't shot that many rifles, but definitely way more handguns than rifles. I'll say that. Got you.
So I always like when I have a tech guy on because one of my favorite questions is asked him about firearm accessories. So we're looking at firearm accessories. What are some of your top items you use, if any? Because Brian barely uses a dot.
Well, man.
I understand how he's in this tech lane, but he don't use no firearm technology.
For a carry, I don't use a dot right now.
And that's understandable.
You know what I mean? I was trying to, like when I was carrying my SIG P365X, I had a little Holosun up there. You know what I mean? Okay. But in my opinion, if something happened, I'm not really going to be trying to acquire that dot and trying to put it on somebody. It's too much going on. Most things happen within that 7 yards, that 5, it's right up close. So it's like, do I really need it? I kind of got all caught up in having the, furniture, how I get. And I was like, look, you don't need any of that stuff. You know what I mean? You need to handle with these iron sights and call it a day. You know what I mean? So
it's that itch of the technology. We just gotta have it.
You gotta have it. I'm gonna get the green dot. I'm gonna get this MOA. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm gonna do all of this. And you like, T, you really don't. You got a nice piece right here. You know what I mean? And that being in firearms and being around people who are in firearms changed my whole concept of a carry. You know what I mean? And really made me hone in on what's important and what I want in a carry piece. You see what I'm saying? Because I carry all the time if I'm not at work. You see what I'm saying? So it just made me think about what was important. And I was like, I don't need this. I don't need that. Let me go back to the basics. Let me go back to the brands that I love when it comes to carry. And I kind of simplified my setup to where now it's just nothing up there but straight whatever it is, and that's it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it is. So I don't really get into a bunch of accessories, man. I don't really get into a lot.
That guy. What about holsters? What about
so
ways to carry, things like that?
So I carry inside the waistband. I'm not a appendage carry guy. All right, your boy got a little bit of appendage just don't work, dog. Like appendix don't work. You know what I mean? So I'm more of a 4 or 5 o'clock guy. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I am. And if I have my sling, it's right here on me when I have my little sling bag. But outside of that, if I'm in the holster, if I'm in the waistband, I like Vetter holsters. I like what's that one? What's one that I have now? Oh man, I can't think of what that brand is, man. But I like Vetter. I like I don't really get too carried away with inside the waistband and trying to get all these super quality waistbands. As long as it's pretty decent, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be whatever Kydex. I get like a little carbon fiber print. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the waistband. That's kind of how I do. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very quiet with accessories. Not really a big accessory person anymore. You know what I mean?
So you carry a bag sometimes, so you carry off body as well.
Yeah,
I'm actually working on a video now with 2 off body bags that I recently purchased for.
Yeah, I'm looking at my off body bag right now that I have in it. Like it's small. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which brand is that? Is that Savior or is it another brand?
No, it's Andar.
Oh, so
this is just a regular sling bag. I can show you right here.
Yeah.
A regular little sling bag right here.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is.
Now, do you just throw it in the bag? Is it in the holster?
I have it in the holster. I have it because they have a little area up here. It's actually still in here because I just had this on. But it has like a little clip right here to where you can like, it ain't made for it, but it goes perfect to put the clip on the actual holster. So if you did open it up and pull it out, it ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? The holster's going to stay in put. So this little thing right here, man, this little piece right here, like, I rarely do this. The only time I wear something like this is if I'm have basketball shorts on or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I bought mine, because it's getting to that time of the year. It's like
there you go.
You wear your gym shorts,
right?
Sometimes
because I keep a gun belt. You know what I mean? I got a Core Essentials gun belt. That's my everyday belt. Whether I'm going to work, whether I'm doing anything, a Core Essentials is my number one. I will never own a regular belt outside of owning a gun belt. I will not do it. You know what I mean? So if I can't put that on, I got to have it like in a little sling or a little, just something else. I can't have nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah. That outside of accessories, man. But that's, I started to used to kind of get the, I forgot the little springs, I think called mag guts. You know how you can change the spring on them so it can hold more capacity?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mag extensions, yeah.
Yeah, but see, I ain't want to mess with the reliability. And I'm a big person about reliability. I'm huge on that. So I just kind of left accessories alone outside of just the holster. And that's about it, And a rifle, different story. You know what I mean?
Rifles got slings. And I got a sling. I changed out all my furniture.
It's a different story with rifle. Because
the only thing I haven't done to my rifle currently is put my red dot on it and zero it in with the red dot and zero it in.
I got to get a new red dot, and I do want to put a flashlight up there. That's it. Like I don't want to get too carried away. But
right out the gate, I had light, dot, wing, mag. When I bought that AR, I had it all already there.
Hey, look, you be ready to get into it. I get it, dog. Trust me, I did the same thing, man. So, but once again, now I'm going to more minimal and just going with what works. That's kind of what the more I'm into them, the more I'm like, all right, so you cut down, scale down and things like that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
One, because stuff ain't cheap.
There you go. And I had to temper my expectations about a carry because for a minute, well, not for a minute, I did have it. I had the Staccato CS for a carry. And that thing is like, the configuration I had was like 3,800. You know what I mean? And I said, it makes no sense in carrying something that expensive because if something happens, they take it.
They're going to take that. And you're down 3,800.
I'll be sick. You know what I mean? So I said, I ended up selling it. Think about Staccato, you can sell them for about what you bought them for. And I ended up selling it. I probably had less than 500 through it, man. And I said, it makes no sense to have such a. I was carrying it because I can put that thing on a target like a full size. I mean, I could lay it down, but the more practice you do, you can kind of, as long as you're familiar with what you're carrying, you can put anything down as long as you put the time in. You know what I mean? So my mind changed with that of having a fancy carry and expense. Nope. Let me get something that's right in that range. If I had to lose it today, I'm not going to be worried about it. You know what I mean? So
it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, but I'm all right.
Yeah. All right. So actually, you said something a little bit about reliability and reviews that you do. You always talk about reliability of the case, protecting the camera ring. How does it, if it's not a minimalist case, how does it protect the rest of the phone?
Right.
I know I follow you. I give you a hard time. I'm not an iPhone guy. But
not messing with that iPhone.
Bro, I just can't, bro. I can't. And everybody sometimes tell me to get it. I'll be like, no, it makes me not one of these boys. But reliability. You talked about reliability is number one on your list. It's number one on your list for, it sounds like a lot of the things you do.
For sure.
So talk about that and translate that into your firearm choices. You kind of already talked about it a little bit on your accessory choices. But just kind of dig into that a little bit more. Like, how do you deem something reliable? Especially if you've never touched it or used it.
Right. Well, see, I kind of go off brands because I've had a lot of different brands. I've had Glock, I've had SIG, I've had Walther, I've had Staccato, I have H&K. You know what I mean? Like I know FNs, but I've had these Taurus. You know what I mean? You name Ruger, and I kind of go off my experience of those, like a Taurus. I bought that Taurus, man. That was one of my. It was so cheap. It was a G2C, so cheap. But guess what? That thing has never jammed one time. Now, am I saying that I'm going to trust it with my life? I don't know. That gun that stays in the safe. You know what I mean? But I go off of what I've had issues with, like SIG. I love SIG, but I was the first person. I was a first batch who had that original P365 that I had to send back to SIG, and that. It just left an uncomfortable spot in my mind as a carry that I'm depending on my life and my family's life. Yeah. Now, I've had many SIGs after that has been flawless, and I've put 1,000 down the pipe, just fine, or whatever the number may be, without an issue. But just that little bit lingers in the back of your head. You know what I mean? Of what if? You know what I mean? So I'm a stickler for SIG. I love SIG. Ruger, I can't do Ruger. I've had to send my SR40C back. My brother had to send his SR45 back to Ruger multiple times. I'm done with that. You know what I mean? So I go by off my experience of what I have. And what I've never had fail me was a Glock, although I don't like Glocks at all. And but my brand that I swear by, that I feel like is just as reliable as Glock, is Smith & Wesson. You know what I mean? I've never had an issue with it. That's what I carry. I carry a Shield 2.0. That's what I carry. You know what I mean? And that's one of my favorite pieces because I can take it down range. I can put them on target very comfortable, and I can wear it with just about anything without printing. And I know it's going to be reliable. And I know every time I pull it, it's going to do what it needs to do. So for me, reliability, man, is just taking it down range, running it through multiple ammo, whether it's my carry, whether it's range ammo, whether it's not cleaning it for a few range trips and just keep going back and just boom, 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 without cleaning it, super dirty, using dirty white box Winchester. These things, I'm like, I just put it through the ringer. And if it doesn't clean it up, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? So I stick to the reliability of my experience with it. And it's everything, because God forbid you have to use it one day. We all hope we never have to use it one day. You know what I mean? But one thing that you want to know is, if when you put it out, you know what it's going to do, and you don't want to second guess it. You know what I mean? So that's why reliability is, you might like all those flashies and the brand new, a new model they come out with. I'm not running to go get it because I want to make sure it's tested. You know what I mean? So I kind of still stay with my old trusty Shield, because guess what? Every Shield that I've owned, I have the original Shield in my safe, and I use my SIG 2.0, you know what I mean? And I don't see myself going away from it. If I do, I'll get another Smith, you know what I mean? But that's what I trust. It was my first gun that I bought. And I bought the SD40, I think 40 SD9 or whatever it was back in the day. And I actually got that gun stolen from me. But that's kind of how I test reliability. You know what I mean? Off of personal experience. And when I take it to the range, I used to go to the range every week for years. Every week I went to the range. You know, when I before a lady, every week, every Saturday I went to the range. You know what I mean? Even on lunch break, sometimes I still go to the range now and come right back. You know what I mean? So I kind of do reliability, man. It's kind of going through my personal experience. You know, what I've had of an issue with, what's the track record of that brand anyway, and of course putting it through my own test. So
yeah, that's definitely
yeah.
I tell people all the time, just in my videos or even when I'm doing one of these kind of talks, of like, you know, they let you rent guns at the range. Go rent
Sure
them.
do.
Go test.
There you go.
Go test your brands. If you feel like something's worth it, then go try it out. And I tell them, go test as many as you can find.
Absolutely.
Before you land on something that you want.
Yeah, I do extensive research before I buy anything. Like, and it's usually not too much of a new. Like, I already know, you know, a new Smith. Like, now I'm just to the point where I kind of want to upgrade my carry, but it'll be another Smith. You know what I mean? So it's just like some just stay within a certain range, and the carry will always be that. But that's kind of how I do it, man. You can have all the flashy stuff you want to, and if you don't got reliability, man, you don't have anything.
You carry another. Do you carry
nine?
Another? Like,
9. I've always carried 9. 40 for a little while back in the day until, you know, 40 ammo was just hard to find. But always I kind of have everything 45, 9, 40, but 9 is what I predominantly carry 100%.
Okay. Yeah, because you like me our hands ain't made for a little bitty gun.
No, man. I was
wondering if you carry like the Bodyguard 2.0, 380.
No, it's too small, man. That's kind of why I had to go away from that original 365. It was such a new and a marvel at the time that you had to try it out. And it was amazing. I loved it. And I can shoot that little thing so good. But at the same time, your hands only gonna let you do with so much. You know what I mean? And just it was just didn't feel natural. You wanted something a little bit bigger. And I would like to actually carry something a little bigger, but then you have a hard time with printing. And if you care about it printing, some people just don't care. You know what I mean? They'll let it print and be perfectly fine. But I kind of like being a little bit more discreet with mine. You know what I mean? So in the winter, you can carry anything, you know, so.
You can almost carry anything in the winter.
Just about.
As the weather starts warming up.
It starts to slim down a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, you got the clothes that slims down. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was going to touch back on what you said about the P3, your SIG.
Yeah.
I was at the time getting ready to buy my wife her first handgun. She ended up landing on a 365, but prior to that 320 incident was going down.
The drop.
I'm like, baby, I know you like this one, but
in the back of your head, right? That's in the back of your head. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying?
She likes it. She runs it. She's 5'11", but she's got like 5 free hands.
Okay.
Her feet and hands like tiny compared to the rest. Like someone who's 5'11", you expect to
right.
You know, like,
he gets some pretty good hands.
Yeah, she got tiny hands like her mom and her sister, both like 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", and she got hands like them, but she 5'11".
Yep.
So she looked at the 380, and then she ended up landing on the 365 9mm because it was just slightly bigger. And you know, she just felt like she could control it a little bit better.
No doubt, yeah, for sure. I get it.
Yeah,
I gotta get my lady or something.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, I was like, But it's been good.
As a gun enthusiast, that will never leave your mind, that thing about seeking it. That's something that will permanently stay in your mind. And if you go into forum sites and stuff, people bring it up to this day. You know what I mean? When they want to talk about, seeking has dropped problems. Okay. How many years ago was that? You know what I mean?
Well, honestly, it wasn't that many years ago. Last year they had one.
They had another one go off last year?
Yeah. So
I missed that.
We thought it was 2. It ended up being 1. We ended up finding out the second one, some guy actually did pull the trigger on that one.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's still too much conversation around it, though. It's just, it don't make me comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, it was in the back of my mind. And I've even shot, like, my buddy has a P226. I shot his. I've held that 211, that GTO. Oh,
yes.
I think it's a beauty to shoot.
Yes.
Yeah, no. It always lingers.
It's right always, it never leave you. You always know. You're like, that 320 incidents, man. And I love some of the variants, man. Like, I love me a good SIG. Don't get me wrong. And I know by now, I'm sure they're fine. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things. It just lingers in the back of your head, man.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yep.
So I also talk about training. because I do focus on either people who are new to the guns or
Okay.
people who are wanting to get into guns and kind of
Yep.
what things they're looking at. So training. So how do you talk about going to a range?
Right.
So you train there. So when looking at things, how do you prepare like your family? So
Mhm.
and we'll get to the story I want to get to. You know it's what it is. You already started talking. I said as soon as I see that story, I said, "Oh, we're gonna
Mhm.
talk about we're gonna talk about this." Damn, that's 26.
Another story. Okay, I'm telling you, boy.
I
Another story, man. Another story time. We'll get to that though for sure.
Yeah. But how do you have you talked to your girl like, hey, if this goes down,
For sure.
these like without giving away like your whole
Yeah.
setup?
Yeah, I have an area where we can go is set up. You know what I mean? The only thing I kind of don't like is, you got to think about where rooms are positioned. You know what I mean? And I don't really like the way our son's room is in the area. You know what I mean? So the good thing is we got to overlook. So that goes down. Everything is the whole open concept. So if something was going down, you'd never get upstairs because I can just hang over the railing and then you'll never get upstairs. I'm already on you by then. You know what I mean? So absolutely, if something happens, you can. It's two different areas you can go. You know what I mean? We have that. In multiple rooms if something happens. So 100%. You know what I mean? You can't really talk about your son because he's. My son's 6, so he doesn't comprehend if something did happen. But I feel like the way our home is set up, that I have enough time to get things together upstairs before you even get up there. You know what I mean? Before you can get up here, I'm already on you. You know what I mean? So. Right. And even that was all a thought process. Even when I bought the house, I'm already thinking like, all right, now if this happens, how is this set up? You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm John Wick, but you got to think about these things. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't like the way his room is positioned. I technically don't like it, but you know what I mean? What can I do? You know what I mean? It's not terrible, but it's not ideal. So other than that, we do have a situation where if something did happen, you know where you can go. I can get him and put him somewhere where he'll be fine 100%. You know what I mean? If we do have to be separated, but we do run through these things, you know what I mean? And I tell her like, hey, if I'm not here, this is where this is. This is where that is. You know what I mean? This is where if it's a small problem and if there's a big problem, this is where this is. You know what I mean? So you got to think about those things and just be prepared. You know what I mean? You never know when something could pop off. You know what I mean? God forbid. Once again, I never want to ever have to do it. Ever. You know what I mean? But it's only been one situation where I felt I was going to have to use it. Just one time it happened. Other than that, I've never had a situation I felt like I was going to have to use
it. Yeah. I wasn't going to bring up your son, but you brought your son up. So
yeah.
And not necessarily that we're going to talk about him, but
that's all good.
No. Brian and I were talking, and he's got a 1.5-year-old, about to be 2.
Right.
And I asked him, I said, so, because I had up until a few weeks ago, my granddaughter and my daughter lived with us.
Okay.
So one of my promises to my wife was when the grandkids are around,
right,
I don't have anything exposed.
For sure.
So I carry, but she doesn't want me to have one like loaded.
I get it. For sure. Yep.
And everybody's different. And so that was my promise to her. And when they're around, we're having them over for company for a cookout or whatever.
Right.
Locked up in the safe or locked up in the
100%. Absolutely.
So how do you manage that, your day-to-day carry stuff with your son? Because your son's 6, so he's gonna be with you for a while.
For sure. And he's very aware. And I always tell people, like, I always have everything locked up for the most part. You know what I mean? Like I have, nightstand stuff, it could vary. It just depends, but I do make sure there isn't one live, you know what I mean? In that case. And I'm always kind of taking it in and out, just depends on what the situation's going on, but it's always locked up. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to my carry, that is something that's usually always ready to go. It's on me a lot of times. If it's not on me, I lock it up if we're inside the house. You know what I mean? Of course, there's multiple scattered about, but that's something that he'll never be able to find. You know what I mean? Now, one thing he is aware, because one day he had like we don't let him play with toy guns or anything like that. Not saying that we're ever going to try to keep him away. We're just kind of very conscious about that. But he had like a water gun or something like that. And I saw him one day, he was putting it right where I put mine. And I said, hey, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm just doing like you do, Daddy. And I said, and usually I always try to put it on.
They not watching. They watching.
I said, when did he see me? Because usually I always try to just tuck it on me. Before we go, I do it kind of discreetly. You know what I mean? I'll loosen the gun belt, boom, pop it in there, and I'm good. And I said, when did that joker see that? You know what I mean? So that kind of, when I first heard that, I said, okay, you really got to keep things locked up. You know what I mean? You cannot leave things out. So if it is a situation where I'm going, everything is locked up. You know what I mean? 100% everything is locked up. Now, when I'm home, even when I do stuff outside, I'll have it. I'll still carry. You know what I mean? But it's never out in the open. Nothing is sitting around. Never nothing like that ever. You know what I mean? You're never nothing sitting around. You never see it on me. You know what I mean? You never lift it up. Nothing. So that's kind of how I do, man. If I'm not here, everything is locked up. If I'm here, then I'll kind of keep what, you know, when it's time to go to bed, I'm like, all right, let me prep. Boom, because we in the bed. I make sure if something goes down, then I'll be able to have some quick access to something. But outside of that, things are locked up in the safe.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do talk to other people about when they, you know, because I talk to, this will be episode 15, I think, whenever this drops. So I think when I was adding it up, I think you're sometime in May.
Yeah.
But I talk to other people like, you know, people have kids, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, some people are. I've been teaching my kids since they were like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Some people are like more like us, like we gonna wait for long.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that right now. You know,
have you thought about when you might?
I haven't. I truly haven't. You know what I mean? That's something I haven't thought about, but I would like for him to be aware. Like growing up, my dad was in the military. He's a Vietnam vet, but he never really had me around that. I didn't really know about any of that outside of my older brothers and cousins that had them. You know what I mean? So I would like for him to be aware, because you hear these stories that their parents not home or some crazy mess. You hear them, you know what I mean? But I don't know. And it's a good question that you asked that, because I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't thought about it. I have not thought about it. When I think will be that time to do it. I don't know.
I think,
you know what I mean?
I don't think there's an actual correct answer for any parent. It's
I think when you feel like, when he gets older for sure. But right now, no, because we don't even let him play with games that has any shooting of guns in it or doing that. We don't get no gun toys. We're not doing any of that. You know what I mean? So I really don't know. That's a very good question, though. I really don't know, and it's something to think about. It is something to think about.
Okay, so we're gonna lighten this up. We're gonna come back to the story, I promise. So,
boy, that dang on Android, boy, can't trust it.
Hey, hold on, man.
Can't trust it, man. Can't trust it, dog. iPhone never leave me wrong, man.
I ain't never had that problem, but
I had it. That's all I only can go off what I told you. I can only go off what I've experienced. You know what I mean?
So it's Samsung season for those who don't know. At this time that we're recording this, and my man every year, and I'm like, T, how long are you gonna keep? Look, there it is. He got it. The S26.
It ain't leaving. I ain't gonna return it, but it's here.
But so his thing is, he always for at least 1 week.
Yeah, okay.
Will have the main sit in it for at least 1 week.
At least.
Sometimes
too.
I think the 25. I think you almost made it a full month.
Almost. And I could, but you know, yep, I almost could. Yep.
My man, so deep in the ecosystem, it's funny.
It's hard. It's hard to let it go. It's hard when you're in that ecosystem, man. You're in the middle of it too. But so tell run through that story. So you got to tell the people. All right. So story time number 2. All right. So every time we go to bed, of course, we cut the alarm on. You know what I mean? I always gotta have the alarm on. As soon as I open that door, thing will go crazy. So my girlfriend had my son's godmother was here. It's my girlfriend's best friend. She always comes. But when people are here, I tend to not cut the alarm on, because I don't know, in the middle of the night, you may have to go back to your car. We could easily give her the code and all that, but it's just like, you know what? You just never know if we may go to bed early. I may wake up in the next morning, or she may get up before me and have to go to the car, and you open the door, alarm goes crazy, cops come, all the things. So I said, you know, when people are in town, I tend to leave it off. So this was this past weekend. This was about, what night was this? It may have been Sunday night, Monday night, maybe. I can't remember. But had the S26 Ultra. Had the new S26 Ultra with my main SIM in it, you know, daily driving it, doing my thing. The iPhone was in my office, probably dead. I wasn't picking it up. I wasn't using it. So I get up, my alarm every morning. I always wake up at 5 a.m. I get up early because I'm out to go to work early in the morning. So sometimes I wake up before my alarm. So I'm laying in the bed, scrolling on my phone. This is about 4 something. All right. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you know, I'm scrolling, boom, 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 laying in the bed, scrolling Instagram, scrolling Twitter, whatever. I get an alert from my security system at 4:22. I think I never forget the number, that the back door is open.
I already know it's funny.
It's open. 4:22 a.m. now. The back door is opened. Now, when a door opens in the house, there's usually a chime that plays. Y'all know how security alarms are. But I didn't hear the chime. And I said, okay. I instantly went into John Wick mode. Instantly. Like that it clicked. You know what I mean? I didn't wake my girlfriend up or anybody. I said, I'm not gonna wake them up because I feel like it may be okay. But I've never had an alert say in the middle of the night that your damn back door is open. You know what I mean? So I immediately went to that nightstand because I got in my nightstand I keep a Springfield Echelon. That's one of my, I like for a hand piece. I like full size, high capacity. That's what I love. You know what I mean? Or I grab that or my shotty. In that situation, I grabbed the Mossberg 500. You know what I mean? So I said, all right, I'm clearing rooms like I'm the SWAT team. Because at this point, I don't know if somebody truly is in here. So the first thing I do, like I told you, it overlooks. First thing I do is look at the guest bedroom. Did she go out her room? Is her door open? Because if her door is open, she don't smoke or nothing. So I don't know what she's doing in the backyard. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing back there. So I said, okay, her door is closed. That's the first check. All right. My son was already in our bed. So I didn't have to go to his room because his door was wide open. Mm-hmm. So I go in, I'm looking. And then immediately I look down and look at the back door. The back door is closed. Don't see no funny business. Everything seems cool. So I said, you know what? I still got to sweep this house because people are slick. Even though I was on it, as soon as that thing went off, I jumped up, boom, 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 instantly, go mode. So you ain't had no time to get to where you got to go unless you know our house. Mm-hmm. And I went downstairs, went down them steps. I had that Mossberg .500, the OG pistol grip. That's it. No mods, just raw up and down. Buckshot slug in it. You know what I mean? I'm going downstairs and I kind of have a little difficult area where you can kind of get me if you know the house. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm peeping, I'm looking, I'm clearing everything. And to come to find out it was a false alarm. And come to find out that was a late delayed notification from when I took my dog outside about 10 p.m. at night. That notification just came through at 4:20. There was no phantom wind. The door didn't blow open. None of that. That was a phantom notification from when I took my dog out hours ago. And it popped up and told me my back door was open. So that right there, man, I said, you know what? I told them guys about 6 a.m. I put it in my Discord. I said, I got a funny story to tell y'all when I get up.
I woke up to that story. I was like, oh shit, we ain't ever going to hear
I know people won't believe me. People probably look at this and be like, this dude lying. I promise you.
So here's what it is. I actually do believe you because I ain't never had it that delayed.
That late.
I've seen like all of a sudden, like I'll get a random group of notifications.
Yeah.
All coming at once. Like,
Yep. And so I don't know, but I know this app, my security system is more catered towards Apple. So I know the Android app really isn't that good. You know what I mean? So I kind of blame it on that app optimization, but outside the point, being that many hours behind is just unreal. You know what I mean? So
that might be the end of the.
That was the first time where I felt like that was the first time I've ever felt like somebody's in this house. You know what I mean? And this is about to get real. And I wasn't nervous. I was calm. You know what I mean? Because I always try to see calm. Don't be nervous. You just calm it down. You know your house better than anyone else in here, unless you've been here and you're a friend. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna know. You know, and you know the way my setup is, you really ain't no safe place to be. You know what I mean? Because I'm be able to see you. So that was the good old. It's the reason why the SIM card ain't in this thing no more and it's back in this iPhone. Because I'm gonna tell you what, this iPhone has never led me wrong. It never felt like I had to go into John Wick mode at 4 a.m. You know what I mean?
Is that the tank on there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The tank. Yeah, man. The tank on it, man. I got a tank for the S25 too.
Oh, you got
S26. Yeah, for the S26. Yeah. No, I got it for the S.
I know they. Brian said they made one for the 25.
I think I got it for the S25 too. If I'm not mistaken, I just got to find it. I'm pretty sure I got it. I think.
I hope it ain't on your sponsors listening. If you find that, go ahead and send it to
I think I do. I'll ask you because I can't. I ain't gonna use it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna use it. But I think they sent one. I'll look though. I'll let you know.
You and Brian have ruined me. I'm just gonna let y'all know that.
With what? The cases.
Bro, I I need one strong, one, one
Nah.
regular case. I need a minimal case, and then if I can find a good leather case, cool. But if not,
cool. I'm all right.
One or two cases.
I tell people, you watch me, you're gonna have a collection of cases, man.
First off, yes. So you were the reason why I started getting MagSafe, because MagSafe really wasn't a big deal. I think S23 Ultra was the first year they really started.
Got to have MagSafe, man. Got to have it.
You told me then. You said once you get MagSafe, you ain't gonna want to get. You ain't gonna.
No sir. No sir.
You were right.
Bit that bug, didn't you? I'm telling you.
I did. So I bought a D brand Ghost for $25 before we as soon as we ordered phones. Next place I went to was D brand. I ordered the Ghost 2.0. And then I ordered one for me, one for my wife, and then I ordered a Spigen to match. I don't even have that case. I don't.
Was it an Ultra Hybrid?
It's the Zero.
Oh, the 01. Yeah, the clear one with the all the.
I have the Buzz 3, and I bought the Zero Hybrid for the. I wanted to match, get that match.
Yeah.
And then Brian he says, "Hey man, I got these extra cases.
There you go.
I'll let you get them." So I got, my wife calls them my phone panties because I'm changing it.
That's pretty good. I heard that before.
Because I change minimum once a
week. You swap them. Yeah. It depends on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Right I have a case for different situations.
Right now I'm rocking the
bull strap.
The bull strap.
Yep.
And they're gray.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different situations. If I'm going out for dinner, I'm putting a leather case on. You know what I mean?
Black leather.
Yep. Man, like I told this.
I spent more cases this last year.
Hey dog, I tell people if you watch our channels, you better get ready to open that. You better get ready to swipe that card because I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, that look good. That look good. That look good.
Bossy. I gotta be. I tell it in the comments all the time. I'm like, oh, here we go. I don't even want to.
That is hilarious. People always say that, like, man, you spending me too much money. Well, I see your notifications. I'm like, here we go. I'm about to spend some money.
These last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Nothing.
All been for content for this channel.
Hey, I heard that. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what it's about, man. Lock in, man. I've always thought about making a firearm channel, but these days of just trying to keep up with what's coming out, and I try to look at, I look at a bunch of GunTube. I look at a lot of people on YouTube. You know what I mean? Do guns. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I keep up in the know what of what's going on, what's new, what's out. I look on my YouTube feed and I'm gonna see them all. You know what I mean? So. Yeah,
I ain't gonna say I'm not ever gonna be that guy, but today I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna tell you what's new coming out.
I get it. No doubt. I like to know what's like, okay, they got that. Let me keep my eye on that. That's pretty cool. I'll see something and be like, all right, I kind of like that. Or I like that model. They came out with a compact version or a subcompact version. Let me keep my eye on that. You know what I mean? So I'll kind of,
They work for phone companies, bro. They work for iPhone.
Man, I had to stop myself because I was in the.
It's the same thing, but smaller.
Yes.
It's the same thing, but it's better.
Like lately, I've been wanting to get something. I've been having the itch in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, I want something.
The new thing is here's the same thing, but now it's comp.
That's true. That's what they're doing. They poured it. They comping it. That's exactly what they're doing. Yep. That's exactly. So it's just, it's some things I've been eyeballing. You know what I mean? I go look on the because I'll take a used gun too. We have a site in Georgia called the Outside Trader.
Yeah.
And it's basically a site which I've sold from there. I've bought from there. And that's where I bought my Staccato P from. I didn't buy my Staccato P new. I bought it from a guy who owned like all Staccatos, and he was selling them because he was starting to invest in night vision material for hunting. And he was like, that stuff is very expensive. You know what I mean? So he was just like, I'm selling some of my Staccatos off. So that website is good because it has a rating system. It's you got feedback. Like it's very set up to where you really can't get scammed. You know what I mean? So I've done multiple transactions on that. So sometimes I just get on there and just browse, you know what I mean? To see what's around, see if there's somebody has a deal, and I'll run up across something. If not, I keep it going. But every now and then I get the itch. Lately, I've been getting the itch to try me out a new carry. But when you get a new carry, I don't truly carry it anytime soon. You know what I mean? I put it through its paces. You know what I mean? I don't just get a gun and put it in my No, at least 5. At least minimum is 500. Minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
You know what I mean? And then usually I like to do like 1,000 to be real with you. And then I'll be like, okay, let me get my holster. Let me do this. And then I can feel comfortable with carrying it. You know what I mean? So A true new carrier is never really a new carrier. It'll go a month before I actually put it on my person, and then and that's kind of how it is. So I've been getting the itch, man, but the itch, I start going down a rabbit hole, and I'll look up videos all day long, and I mean, you know how it is when you're looking at YouTube.
Yeah. So I knew you was from the A. You got some people down there who doing some big things with their own podcast down there, the We the People podcast. Have you tapped into them?
I haven't.
Great group of guys, man. They give
We the People podcast.
Yeah. They
don't they make holsters?
No.
That's different. Okay, that's different. Okay. Yeah. I'm about to look it up then.
These three brothers who
We the People podcast.
Yeah, We the People podcast.
And they just talk about like firearms in general, or
they go through it all. They go because Fred, man, look, when you listen, and I tell you Fred, and you be like,
okay, I see him right here.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna subscribe then. All right, that's a bet.
They started their podcast last year. You can see, and then 1 year
they're growing good. Yeah, I saw 65.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yes,
and there's not a lot of us in that area. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of us in that area when it comes to it. You know that. So definitely not. So I always like to see when I'm like, okay, let me check them out. Kind of like we said in the very beginning. No, they one of us. So let's check them out.
Have you ever shot any AKs? Or you ever in
one?
AK?
One. The original. It's two.
But there's young boys down in your area called Gorillas in the Mist. Gorillas in the Mist are big AK guys.
Really? I don't like AKs.
Yeah. They make them sound like
the best. They too violent. They too rough. They too.
But they gonna run in anything.
Okay. They gonna put it through it. Like my guy that was a ex-scout sniper in the military, he has a arsenal. Like he has a room. And I never forget, he brought it one time. Matter of fact, when I first built my AR, he brought it, he just brought some stuff out, and he brought it, and it was a real raw AK. And I said, oh, this thing kicks like a mule with that 7.62. And I was just like, nah. It instantly turned me off, and I ain't never shot another one since then. Because I said, this thing, it's not a good experience. It beats you up. You know what I mean? That's one of the guns that beats you up. You know what I mean? I'm like, this ain't a good shooting experience. So it's not a good shooting experience. I've never had this. I never wanted to buy one ever.
Someone said AKs for the world and ARs for America rifle.
I see that. That's about right. That's true.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up with my final question. My final question before we wrap this up. I ask anybody new on my channel. No limit credit card. I hand it to you. I say, T, pick out any gun you want, any firearm you want. Don't matter what caliber. Don't matter whatever. Which one you running? You get one. People been trying to cheat lately. You get one.
It would probably be. It might still be that Staccato XC for me.
Okay.
Between that or like the Sand Viper, you know what I mean? Something like that. Something like a Sand Viper.
Something like a Sand Viper.
Yeah, something, one of those. You know what I mean? You kind of see what I'm going with. And if you had to give me like a rifle, it would be more like a true FN Scar or a Honey Badger Q, a Q by Honey Badger. I love those. You know what I mean? So, but that's kind of like my relics that I would love. And I almost had a Q. I almost had a Honey Badger. A guy was selling one local for a very good price, and I was like, that's a little too cheap for be a true Honey Badger. But Pit Viper, Sand Vipers, you get what I'm going. That range, that area. But see, I never shot one. Something that I would never get, ever. No Nighthawk. That's no. Those Sand Vipers, man. Ooh, those some people. They're a work of art. I call them a work of art. You know what I mean? But like the XC is attainable. I can get an XC. It's gonna shut me down, but I can get an XC. But I'm never getting one of them.
I'm gonna tell you, put a few more dollars with it, find you like a Jacob Gray, or and to get you an Atlas, or
Atlas. I have a place. It's a place in Alpharetta. It's called KF Armory. They cater towards all those exotic brands. You go in there and they got the Staccatos, they got the Atlas, they got everything. It's a very tactical place. Like the SWAT team goes, when I tell people about it, and they go in, they're like, this store is legit. Like they have things you'll never see.
If I ever got one of those higher end ones, they not ever be a carry. It's gonna be a
No way. No.
and a range toy.
That's it. That's it.
They get too dirty too fast. They get unreliable really quick.
See, and that's why I didn't want to carry a 2011. You know what I mean? I had that staccato, that CS, and I said, see, this can't go through the ringers. You know what I mean? God, no. And then you always think about worse scenario. Maybe I'm in the mud and it ain't going to shoot. You know what I mean?
Moment of the thing, get a little water on, that's gonna be like
no, and you know, and they like to run wet. Those 2011s, you got to keep those things lubricated, and it may go. I can not put any oil in my Smith in 2 years, and guess what's gonna happen when I pull it? It's gonna go off every single time. But see, that's the reason why I started to stop carrying those expensives. But anyway, long story short, if I had an unlimited, it'd be somewhere within that range. You know what I mean? XC is attainable. Sand Viper and Pit Vipers not attainable. So it'll definitely probably be one. Ain't no way ever that I'm getting one of those. Well, you know what I mean?
That's why I say if I give you a credit card with no limit,
I got to go figure out where I get it from. I don't know who I ordered from, but you know what I want. This is what I want. You know what I mean? So I have to say one of those. You know what I mean? I think there's some other ones out there that I can't think about, but off the top of my head, I said, "Beat them Sand Vipers." I think that's what I want. You know what I mean? So work of art, man.
Vipers are nice. Well, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Man, had a ball, man. Anytime.
I haven't said this at all. If you made it this far, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna have. I don't know. So I didn't do this for Brian because he didn't want to be. You know, he didn't want his channel tied. I don't know if
I don't care. I don't care. I ain't. Okay. I don't care.
I invite him as a collaborator. I'll have his channel linked in the description. And
it's all good.
Out of the 130,000, if you're not one of them, make you sub over the T for any phone accessories. Look, he dogs on Android, but he does all the high end Androids. He does the Galaxy.
Yeah, it got to be high end. You know what I mean? The Sand Viper and Pit Vipers of the world.
It's got to be the high end. You know, we can't run the low end stuff on.
Nah, there ain't no point. It's a waste of my time, man. I hate to say that.
I can guarantee you 350 days out of the year, he got an iPhone on him.
Oh, you got that right. 350, that's about right too.
The other 15 days reserved for Android phones that he picked
whatever little Android is out there.
Anything else you got going? You working on? I know you. Life's been kind of kicking you a little bit.
I mean,
not in a bad way.
No, it's just busy time, man. Not really, man. It's just trying to catch up with content and just trying to open my channel up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm trying to strive for this year. I got all this tech in this room. You know what I mean? I got this OLED monitor behind me I can talk about. I got this PC. I got these gaming headsets and all types of docks and things. It's like you've been using some of this stuff for years. Do a review on it. You know what I mean? So
you did have the other channel for a little bit for that purpose.
Yeah, but at this point, I don't even care anymore. That's when I was trying to see if I could potentially go full time. I know this will never be something I do full time. But at the same time, I have so much tech in this house between TVs and, you know, the Philips Hue bar, the light bars behind the TV. And this is so much. It's just like this Keychron keyboards that they send me. It's like, talk about other things because people can get a good sense of talking about tech when you're not in that niche. You know what I mean? Like when I did a keyboard review, people were like, I'm not a keyboard person, but they want to hear for some regular tech guy who likes a good keyboard. So that's for this year. That's what I'm kind of trying to get into, just kind of getting out my comfort zone and start talking about some of this tech I got throughout this house because I got a lot. So
that's cool. Yeah. So guys, make sure you sub up to T as well. Again, thank you very much. I know
anytime, brother.
Well, I know. And hey, if you ever want to do this again, just let me know.
We can do it. We can do it live or whatever you want to do. Yeah, let's do it, man. Listen, when somebody want me on their stream, I'm quick. I'm easy. Like, all right, I ain't gotta do the legwork. Cool, I'm in there. I ain't gotta read comments. When you told me, I was like, Wednesday's cool. That's a good dead day. I can't do it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. No, Wednesday, perfect. Because like I said, if I wasn't streaming with you, I'd be live streaming on my channel right now. If I was not with you, but I said nope, my man. Wednesday, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know. I think I asked you this a while back, and then we finally just kind of laid down.
For sure.
It's just amazing how many people like they want to talk about this. And
right.
Honestly, and I'll say this on video that I haven't said it yet, but I've said to other people off video.
Yeah,
it's some of my favorite content to do because it's always something. Even if I'm talking about the same thing, which is firearms, it's a whole new conversation with somebody, and it's some of the easiest. It's the easiest, but the most fun content I can do.
I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? I always want to dibble and dabble in different content. Like I show you this RC car. Like I love that. You know what I mean? It's like, but I thought about making an RC car channel, but it's just like time and I can barely keep up with this. 2 channels to me impossible. So yeah, man.
2 channels impossible.
No, dog.
All right,
yeah.
We're gonna get off the video. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. As I always say, stay safe, stay ready, stay prepared. Catch up with you next time. Peace.